It had been a few weeks since I accepted the Emperor's offer to remain in the castle. Nefferon's requests were always simple, not at all what I would have expected from him. Every time I visited him, he would ask me to sing for him and shower me with compliments of my beauty. What a strange man. Having just left the throne room after entertaining him. Why is that in quotes? Zuleika, what were you doing? What were you doing? I decided to get a breath of fresh air in the castle gardens. I loved to go there whenever I was feeling upset or stressed. It was such a peaceful place. But to my surprise, I saw the young Prince Durin standing at the other edge of the garden, looking beyond the outlining stone fence to the world outside. He seemed troubled. So I can approach him and ask what's wrong, or leave him alone, since we are focused on Nefferon here, we're going to leave him alone. I decided it was best to leave him to his thoughts and continue on my way. It wasn't long, however, before I ran into yet another unexpected face in the gardens, the Emperor himself. Taking a nice stroll through the gardens, are we? Oh, sorry, I forgot my voice. Let's redo that. Let's redo that. Taking a nice stroll through the gardens, are we? I didn't expect to see you here, Your Majesty. Is that a problem? No, of course not. I'm just surprised. I actually came here hoping to find you, Princess. I'm going to town for a bit to take care of some personal business. Would you care to join me? And we're gonna say, I would be honored to, Your Majesty. I'm so glad to hear that, little princess. Oh, but before we go, here's a small token of my thanks. Received 500 gold. Woo! As much as I would love to have a beautiful woman on my arm as I prance through town, I'm afraid this is some business that I must do alone. But please, princess, feel free to have a look around town in the meantime. I'll meet up with you back at the castle when you're done. Well, since I have some time, I might as well go exploring. There's a lot to do in town. The shop is a great place to buy items or work in order to earn money and charm. At the library, I can brush up on my reading or teach a class to increase my intelligence. The training hall provides a place where I can prepare for combat and work on my strength. The church is always looking for volunteers, which can increase my kindness level. I heard there's even a nationwide dancing competition going on where I can test my skills. When I'm ready to move on, I can return to the castle. What should I do? Yeah, so I always like to visit the shop, and you start with 500 gold, which is just enough for one of these large stat boosts. So let's do a charm booster, just to get that out of the way. Even the gaudiest pauper can look like a beautiful princess with this potion. Then again, I guess you're already a princess. Should I buy this item? Yes. You now have 0 gold. And while we're here, we'll work as a sales clerk. I spent several hours manning the counter, giving suggestions and chatting with customers. While it was tiring work, it was well worth it. I made 85 gold. What should I do? Next, let's enter the dancing competition. So that's the, so each of the personality types has a unique kind of side quest or mini game. And for the charming personality, the unique mini game is the dancing competition. So let's do that. Welcome to the biggest event of the year, the 9th annual dancing competition. Test your skill against the best dancers in the nation. It's great to have you here. Let the competition begin. Please choose a dance partner. So you do get a bit of extra affection with whoever you choose as your dance partner. So let's do Nephron. The first dance will be the former Princess Zuleika, known for her courage and golden tongue, dancing with none other than the infamous Emperor Nephron. Alright, let's do this. To dance with a stunning beauty like you is truly an honor, Princess. So the point of this mini game is you have to, so you know, it plays little things and then you gotta remember what it played. Fun facts. Up until recently, not quite the most recently released, but the most recent major release, I was using like DDR, like Dance Dance Revolution arrows for this. But I recently changed them to just generic arrows for the Steam release specifically. I didn't want to violate any copyright. I don't want people coming after me. Perfect. Well done, princess. On to the next one. Another fun fact, the sound effects with the like the piano sound effects were actually done by a friend of mine specifically for this. So I really appreciate him being willing to contribute some little sound assets there. Perfect. Truly splendid. On to the next one. Perfect. You're doing very well, princess. On to the next one. Another fun fact is that those aren't randomized. They're the same every time. And I think they might even be the same between paths. So even if you went the other path with Shale and Karile, you can still do this mini game if you choose the charming personality type. And I think it's even the same there. Now there is an extra one on the other side versus this one. So the other one starts with 4 arrows. So each round of the dancing mini game, we add another arrow. And so on the other side, they start with 4 arrows, whereas this one starts with 5. But like, I think the 5 arrow round on the other path is the same, so it still has the same answers and everything. So I've gotten really good at this game. Well done, princess. On to the next one. Oh, sorry. Perfect. As I thought, you're a remarkable dancer. Congratulations on winning first place in the first round. Your prize is 250 gold. That's all for today, but don't forget the competition is being held across the nation, so you can compete in any town. Good luck! What should I do? I have one action remaining. I think let's go work at the shop again. I spent several hours manning the counter, giving suggestions, and chatting with customers. While it was tiring work, it was well worth it. I made 85 gold. Yeah, that's the same every time. By the time we returned to the castle, it was already dark. Thank you again for going with me, Princess. You're very welcome, Your Majesty. I actually had a pretty good time. I saw all sorts of new, interesting things. I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. That night, I sat in my bedroom, contemplating the day's events. Before long, I heard a knock at the door. As I opened it, I was shocked to see Emperor Nefferon. So, you actually only get this scene if you have a blue heart with Nefferon by this point. And I don't remember if you have to specifically go to town with him. I think so. But anyway, you only get to see this if you have at least a blue heart. We have a green heart, which is one step higher than a blue heart. So that's why we're seeing this, and that's why it feels kind of disconnected from the previous scene. Because, like, I was just thinking, like, we were just talking. Why am I in the bedroom now? That's because this is an optional scene that may or may not actually happen. I apologize for arriving on such short notice, Princess, but I believe you lost this today. Oh yeah, I think it is, specifically only if you went with him to town. He handed me a large, dark, velvet-covered box. But, Your Majesty, I haven't lost any. Open it. Received a ruby necklace. The necklace was incredibly beautiful, but at the same time it sent shivers down my spine, as did the expression on the Emperor's face. From now on, little princess, I want you to wear it for me. Do you understand? Like this? I frowned as I noticed that it looked out of place on me. Osiris had always adorned me with green emeralds and gold, since those were his favorite colors. I had never worn anything like this before. What struck me most about the necklace, however, was that it looked as if the rubies were drops of blood dripping down my neck, and that thought made me shiver. Sorry, I'm distracted by, like, hey, I think I just ran into that bug where I was supposed to get the full closet achievement and I didn't. As I thought, it looks beautiful on you. So I can be thankful, or what are you doing here? I think I'm gonna be nice. The man smiled when I thanked him, obviously pleased by my acceptance, real or not. Oh, and I was so distracted by the bug that I forgot to mention. Another red flag, right? The necklace that looks like blood dripping down her throat. Red flag! You do like it, don't you, Princess? It's beautiful, Your Majesty, it really is, but why did you give it to me? The Emperor smirked, amused by my confusion. I just wanted to give it to you, that's all. Is there something wrong with that? No, I suppose not. He took my chin in his hand and forced me to look at him. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest and my cheeks becoming flushed. Also, fun facts. I used the same, like, drawing of them in 2 different CGs with different backgrounds. And 3 of the 4 cases where this comes up, wait, no, two of the 3 places where this comes up are antagonistic. So as much as the text is like, oh, my cheeks are flushed, like, this is a good thing, that is not a happy face. That is not a blushy face. That is a horrified, angry face. You're cute, little princess. Despite myself, I think I've taken quite a liking to you. With that, he let me go and disappeared from the room as quickly as he had come. I stared after him, speechless, not daring to move. Alright, well, I gained some gold, lost some gold, gained some more gold. I've got pretty good charm now. I don't think I actually gained any intellect. I think that's just what I had before. A week after my visit to the village, Nefferon called me in to have a meeting with him. When I entered, I was surprised to see that the Emperor's usual smirk had been replaced by a frown. What could have upset him? You and my pets seem very close. I had a bad feeling and suddenly wondered where Durin was. I hadn't seen him for several days. I looked steadily at the Emperor, trying to figure out what he was thinking. We're friends, yes, as a result of circumstance. I see. I can be like, where is he? Or, if that upsets you... I apologize, little princess. I just get jealous easily. It's one of my worst flaws. Red flag! I promise that nothing is going on between Durin and I. We're just friends. I'm relieved to hear that. Where is he, by the way? Oh, I sent him off to run some errands for me. He should be back later today. Now, if you watched Durin's route last week, you know that that is a lie. That is absolutely a lie. He beat Durin and then locked him up in the dungeons. That's where he is right now. So that whole like, oh, I just sent him on an errand. Liar. Another red flag. I was secretly glad to hear that Nefferon hadn't done anything to hurt him. He was, after all, my best friend. And see, if you hadn't played Durin's route and you were just playing Nefferon's route, you'd never know, right? As far as you know, he's misunderstood. He's not actually that bad of a guy. But if you've played Durin's route, then you know he's actually terrible. After a moment of looking at me intently, he motioned for me to leave. You may go now, but come to my chambers tonight. I want to hear you sing again. The jokes write themselves. Once again, I have some free time before nightfall. I can either visit Durin, visit Nefferon, or tidy up around the castle. Now, that was the correct text. What should I do? Let's talk to Durin first. Hello, Zuleika. How are you today? I'm glad to see that you're recovered from your beating. I heard that you won another archery competition last week. Congratulations. Thank you. I spent a long time preparing for it, so I'm glad that it paid off. Do you enjoy it? Archery, I mean. I do. It's one of the few things that helps take my mind off of, you know. I understand. Or, do you mean Nefferon? One of the things with like Durin's route, so Durin likes it when Zuleika really knows him and can, you know, is really connected to him. So anyway, that is to say, if we want to choose the wrong choice for Durin, we're gonna act like we don't know what he's talking about. Or that he needs to explain it explicitly. Of course I mean Nepheron. He's so infuriating. I can imagine. I'm sorry, Durin. I shouldn't have brought it up. That's fine. Alright, let's talk to Nepheron. When are you going to sing for me again, I wonder? Look at that. He's already yellow heart. So, what exactly does an emperor such as yourself do in his spare time? Curious, are we? I'm flattered, princess. Well, as you can imagine, I'm a very busy man. Between meetings and negotiations, I don't have much time to myself. When I do have a spare moment, however, I usually spend it reading. I also spend some time training every now and then, though I haven't done so much lately. So I can ask what kind of books or what kind of weapon he uses. So last week I was kind of deer in the headlights at this choice because I was like, oh no, I don't know which is the correct choice for Nepheron. And because I was doing Durin's route, I was trying to do the incorrect choice. And so I looked it up in the walkthrough that I wrote that's included with the game. And both options give the same amount of affection, so it doesn't really matter which one I choose. The what kind of weapon is the one that crashed the game last time, but I fixed the bug. So it would not crash if I did it this time, and I guess I will, because last time I chose what kind of books because I had to because it was the only choice that didn't crash the game. So this time I'll say, what kind of weapon do you like to train with? I wield my legendary Blade of Anguish, of course. I don't know how you managed to even lift that huge weapon of yours, let alone use it accurately. It just takes a bit of practice and skill, that's all. For the record, the Blade of Anguish is this, like, giant two-handed sword. Think like Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII, like it's that kind of size. It's huge. Now, why does he wield such a huge weapon? Such a huge sword? Good question. Maybe he's overcompensating. Who knows? Well, next time you practice, maybe you can teach me a thing or two. We'll see. What should I do? And like last time, we are going to talk to him about politics. Are you sure it's such a good idea to have an alliance with Menorhi the Witch? So that's the Holy Mother that Shale refers to in his route. So Shale's creator. For most of your subjects, Nilan is considered to be a terrifying place. All the people I've talked to seem to dislike the idea of being allied with such a nation. While you may care greatly what the people have to say, little princess, I do not. There are certain motives behind this alliance. You wouldn't understand. Then teach me. That's why I came to you in the first place. Perhaps another time, princess. That pause was the look of... Do I want to get into what motivated him to form an alliance with Menorhi? But no, I'll save it. Because it's very relevant for the remake. That may or may not ever be complete, but hey. It's a thing. Maybe. That night, Nephron called me in to perform my service to him, as usual. However, rather than meeting in his chambers, he asked to meet in the ballroom instead. I wondered what he had in mind. I could never tell what that man was thinking, and that fact continued to bother me. Ah, there you are, Princess. I've been waiting for you. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by tonight's request. Oh, now I'm curious. Rather than singing for me, tonight I would like you to dance with me. Dance? What kind of dance? You'll find out soon enough. So, what do you say, Princess? Will you dance with me? Of course, Your Majesty. Ooh, he's at a red heart. Excellent. As for the dance, I was thinking of my personal favorite dance, the tango. Of course. I think I added this scene specifically because I found like some tango music. I was like, oh, I could use this. I'm not sure I know how to do that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't make sense for it to exist in your world and your time period at all. Well then, I'll show you. Just follow my lead, little princess. He wrapped his arm tightly around my waist and pulled me to him, so close I could feel the heat of his body next to mine. I felt my cheeks becoming flushed as I realized this was a much more intimate dance than I was used to. Don't tell me you're embarrassed, princess. No, it's nothing like that. Here, step with me. Like this? Almost. Here, like this. He brushed the hem of my dress up as he grabbed my leg to slide it next to his. Woo-hoo. This is probably the steamiest scene in the game, which isn't saying much, to be fair. It's a low bar. Once again, I became all too aware of how close we were to each other. I looked at him, and for a moment our eyes locked. There was something in his eyes, a desire so intense it made me melt. Are you enjoying this, princess? Yes, Your Majesty, I am. I bet you are, Zuleika. Good, I'm glad. As we continued to dance, I felt his desire, his passion, as it burned through me. But just as I thought I had him all figured out and was ready to give myself to him, he left without a word. I just couldn't understand him. So I got some charm, got some intellect. Next chapter.